Okay, so a couple weeks ago, I made a video about mind controlling stingers in Everbloom. Whenever you would mind control the stingers, they would do just a ridiculous amount of damage to the pack. Somewhere in the order of 30% of your group's damage would just be via stinger dot. And since then, I've seen a couple people kind of talking about some of the more interesting things that you can do with mind control inside of Mythic Plus. And so today we're going to take a second to talk about Dominate Mind and the stuff that I know that is super good to do with Dominate Mind in dungeons, and some strats that actually people don't really know about. So this isn't just like conventional stuff. These are like really overpowered strats that you can actually utilize Dominate Mind for inside of Mythic Plus. Basically, Dominate Mind is like a mind control style effect, but it turns the mob into a pet for a priest. Obviously, it doesn't work against demonic, mechanical, or undead mob types, but it works against beasts and humanoids, which are the most popular mob types. So talking about the first mob that we're going to be looking at today, that mind controlling is super good on, is the Chrono Weavers in Fall. And so the Chrono Weavers, whenever you MC them, you get access to the Chronomelt ability, which you can use. And whenever you use the Chronomelt ability, it reduces the afflicted player's movement speed and haste by 50%. And the haste by 50% is actually the key ingredient to the Chrono Weaver MC, and you can see it used in a couple of areas. First off, we saw it in the MDI being used on the first boss. If you MC the Chrono Weaver and use the Chronomelt ability on Chronocar himself, he will end up breaking his cast sequence. And whenever his cast sequence is broken, you'll first off get like a really delayed sand stomp, like you see on screen right here on the left-hand side of your screen, where it doesn't even go off, like they don't take damage from it or anything. But then on the subsequent sand stomps, then you're only going to be getting one per phase as opposed to the two, which lowers the amount of damage that you're taking by a significant amount. This could be good for, blue silk and lining up time, less of a chance of getting killed off by a Ripper due to overlaps and whatnot. Not the most viable thing, but something that it's not bad. And MCing one of the Chrono Weavers on pull and utilizing this on the boss is fine. The next strat that we're going to show with the Chrono Weaver is definitely more usable, and it was used by Vibes in a 30 Tyrannical Fall. I would say that this is the most popular for Tyrannical Falls. And again, this is coming down to the 50% haste reduction on the mob's cast. And so Chronomelt basically works on all of this boss's abilities, and it can do things like make the Earthcracker Barrage cast longer. It can make the Extinction Event cast longer. And in addition to that, it can make that final stand phase that Chronocar goes into, instead of being 30 seconds, it'll get bumped up to 45. And that's what you see right here is right before they're about to phase the boss in the intermission, they'll start channeling the Chronomelt on the boss. And now the Cataclysmic Obliteration, as you can see right here, is 45 seconds instead of the 40. Now, the downside of doing it on this boss is if you don't have somebody with like a meld or a bubble or an invis for the Extinction Event cast, the Chromie Shield that's supposed to give you some DR versus the Extinction Event cast is time-based. And so if you don't have like a meld or something like that, that person might die to the Extinction Event cast if the boss is Chronomelted. Now, you can leave the boss off, or this mob off to the side for an extended period of time, and just leave it in a cage or something like that and just use it at the very end. I would say that your priest actually loses a decent amount of damage to do this strategy. However, with a 45-second final last stand phase, you can basically get away without any offensive cooldowns because it's 45 seconds. Just the circle here is going to be enough to kind of carry you. And that allows you to kind of put all of your damage that you need into the boss. And that's actually very valuable. Now, the last MC that we're going to talk about is one that I don't think is very known. And the only reason that I know about it is because Dorky told me about it in Twitch chat the other day. And so that's the only reason I even know about it. And so we're going to kind of set this up. It's about the Rook Spiderling in Black Cult. And so we'll just talk about the mob first. These are mobs that are in the staircase. And what they do is they put a magic damage debuff on your tank, typically whenever they melee them. And you can kind of see where this is going. Whenever they melee, whenever they're dominate-minded, they also stack up a magic damage taken, or not magic damage taken, but like a magic damage debuff onto mobs. And so it's only single target, and thus it's not very useful on any of the trash mobs. But it would be very good if you could get it on a boss, right? And particularly the second boss. And so what we did is we had Ordomist, our Mistweaver monk here, drop his Transcendence in the corner, go and pick up the Rook's Skitterling, jump on this pile of rocks, transcend back up. In the meantime, we're fighting this trash pack while he's off running and going and grabbing it, because this is the most, time efficient way of doing this. The archers only have 30-yard range for their shots and 20-yard range for the arrow barrage. So we know that if we stand back here, it'll be fine. So Ortimus goes and gets the Skitterling. We mind control the Skitterling and pull it straight into the boss. And then, as you can see right here, it's starting to stack up the dot on the boss. And whenever... It's less good on Fortified, but it's really good on Tyrannical. And I saw it do about 10 million damage to this boss on Tyrannical. And so mind controlling that Rook Skitterling, taking it into the boss, you're going to have to re-MC it a couple of times, which is going to be a bit problematic for your priest. But you'll see me hover over this Rook Skitterling debuff that's on the boss here in just a couple of seconds to try to see how much damage it's taking. And it at some point starts doing like 100,000 DPS to the boss, and then that's even at like 20 stacks, and this thing can stack up to 99 times and do basically solo the boss. And so it really, really accelerates bosses on Tyrannical, kind of similar to the thing that we saw on Iridicron earlier with the Chronomelt cast. But those are 3 really overpowered mind controls that you can utilize for Mythic Plus. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Share it with your friends. Come check out my stream as well. I've been streaming a lot lately. It would mean a lot to me if you came and checked it out. Also, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.